So I think it's fair to say that over the last few years, we've seen some crazy smartphone gadgets, but I think we've just topped it. So let's ease our way in. Number 20 is the Razer Kishi. It is the best mobile game controller I've ever used. It'll fit pretty much any smartphone, and because it's physically connected to the USB-C port, there's almost zero input lag. For the most part, this is an Xbox controller for your phone. My only nitpick is that it's kind of expensive, so I would have liked to see a more premium finish. Okay, Duolink is kind of a fascinating concept. So on first impression, this is a Bluetooth speaker, and a fairly decent one. But the key mechanic here is that if you give it a little pull, then all of a sudden you've got two speakers that operate in a stereo pair, actually up to 22 feet away from each other. But here's the best bit. Inside these halves is a pair of true wireless earphones. And they're pretty good. All of this sounds pretty good, but it's the way they work together that is the real selling point. So right now I'm actually playing music through my ears, but I can take that out, put it in here, and all of a sudden, everyone can hear it. And while all this is happening, it is charging my earphones back up again. It obviously loses portability, but the other payoff of having this frankly enormous case is that the battery life is amazing. You're getting quite a lot for the money here. Okay, we've seen smartphone gimbals before, but the focus of this one, the Smooth X, is versatility. This is like the Swiss Army knife of gimbals, once we get through the 1,000 layers of packaging. Nearly there. Okay, one more. Right, there we go. So it starts in this folded form here, where it's about the size of a large door handle, but from there you can rotate it out, you can add the included tripod attachment, and you can extend it an extra 26 centimeters outwards. It's a little bit like having a gimbal, a tripod, and a selfie stick all in one. And the perk of that is almost any type of shot you can think of, you can take. Different orientations, check. Automatic person tracking, check. It'll follow you around. 180-degree panorama shots, check. And of course, all while being stabilized. Worth noting that this is a 2-axis stabilizer, not a full high-end 3-axis one. That's what makes it more affordable. And the perk of being able to extend it means that if your phone doesn't have an ultra-wide camera on the front, which most don't, this gadget is basically saying, never mind, we'll just move your phone back instead. So your point of view goes from something like this when handheld to something like this with the Smooth X. How about a smartwatch with the slogan, bow to the future? Now that's a sweeping statement. This is the Amazfit X, and the central mechanic is this 92-degree curved AMOLED display panel, which compared to most smartwatches just gives you a taller screen. And it's cool, you can see a lot of data at once, but just bear in mind that compared to a more affordable smartwatch, like the Mi Band 5, this doesn't necessarily do a whole lot more. It's just cooler. This is a fashion accessory as much as it is a smartwatch. Okay, let's talk about chargers for a minute. You might know that the standard iPhone charger has 5 watts of power. You can get fast chargers, which sit at around 15 to 20 watts of power, and then what I refer to as super fast chargers, anything from about 30 watts to 65 watts. Well, this is a 120 watt charger, and because it's made using a special compound called gallium nitride, it's actually a lot smaller than it should be. Unfortunately, you can't just charge your phone with 120 watts and fill it up in 15 minutes, but the benefit of having this much power in one brick is that you can charge almost any 3 devices at full speed simultaneously. It's so powerful that you could use this to charge both your smartphone and 2 small laptops at the same time. Now, I've got 4 really interesting ways of delivering battery to your smartphone, and if you're enjoying this video, by the way, a sub would really mean a lot to me. Okay, the first one is a battery from Aukey, and it's a fairly simple looking product, 10,000 mAh capacity, it does all the standard stuff, but it's got a kickstand at the back with a little ledge on the front, so you sit your phone on it, and while it's on there it can use fast wireless charging to juice it up. It gets more unusual though. What you're looking at right now is a pouch to carry your phone in, and when you put your phone in there, it'll start wirelessly charging. That's pretty cool, I guess, but the pouch is part of a bigger picture. The company sells this whole suite of pouches, all designed to fit in this slinger belt, made for, I guess, the modern day cowboy. The third doesn't really add anything in the name of features, but it's probably the snazziest way to charge your phone. This is the Black Shark Power Bank. Again, 10,000 mAh capacity, it's got the standard 3 charging ports, but the cool part is this LED strip in the middle. It animates when the bank is filling up and then acts as a visual indicator for how much battery is left. And the final power product is, I don't really have a catchy name for this, I'm just going to call it the Suction Power Bank. 10,000 mAh capacity again. I feel like there's a bit of a trend here, but this time, instead of just being able to stand your phone on top of it, it uses 20 suction cups to latch on and charge your phone. It's kind of like having a really bulky case. I'm kind of a fan of fusion products that take two seemingly unrelated tasks and do both of them. So this Adonit Note UVC naturally caught my attention. It's a stylus, fairly comparable to the Apple Pencil, but with two built-in ultraviolet lights to sterilize your device with. They're saying it'll kill 99% of germs in 1 minute of using it. This particular one only works for the iPad, but they do have a whole load of other options. And then, related to this concept of UV cleaning, we have the Cell, which is also one of these products that combines two seemingly unrelated things. On one hand, you open it up, place your phone inside, and it effectively gives it a UV bath. But also, it's a wireless charging pad. Okay, the Anker PowerConf. Sounds a bit like they forgot to finish writing the name on there, but it's actually more useful than I initially thought it would be. The best way to think about it would be, you know sometimes when you're calling someone, but at the same time you're trying to do something, so you decide to put your phone down and put it on speaker mode. Well, this is kind of like having a super speaker mode. It connects to your phone via Bluetooth and uses 6 microphones in an omnidirectional array to pick up your voice from even further away, and from every direction. Right, so in the last Smartphone Gadgets episode, I showed you a compact Anker projector, and I said this is the best mini projector I've ever used. It was easy to set up, it ran on Android, so it had its own apps, and it was portable. So I was kind of curious to see how much better its bigger brother would be. This is the Anker Nebula Mars 2 Pro, and it still keeps the smartphone in mind. You might know that setting up a projector is an absolute faff. It involves cables, it involves overhead mounts and big white blank screens. This doesn't really have that. It's got a built-in battery which gives around 3 hours of use, so I could just plonk it down on a table and start watching. And compared to that other projector I liked, which had a single 8-watt speaker inside of it, this has dual 10 watts. Plus, while it does lose portability, it's like 2.5 times brighter. So I've set mine up in a bedroom, and even with a half-open window and a dark wall being used for the screen, not particularly recommended, it is still perfectly visible. Alright, so you've seen a Bluetooth speaker that transforms into earbuds, but now we've got a very different kind of transformation. This is the Powmo. It's a pocket-sized speaker with surprisingly good sound and 2 cool selling points. You can mount it almost anywhere thanks to a magnetic plate that you get with it, and that includes on the back of your phone, which is completely ridiculous to look at, but hey, if you want to do it, you can do it. And the second thing is that it's collapsible. So right now it's in its compact mode, but I can pull it, and all of a sudden you've got a much larger sound chamber, which means deeper bass and a warmer overall sound. Next up is a gadget that allows you to get away with using fewer cables. If I had to describe this, this is a hyper long range Bluetooth transmitter and Bluetooth receiver. And these are actually two very different things. When it's acting as a transmitter, it can take your wired audio and make it wireless. So let's say when you're watching TV, you're using your TV's inbuilt speakers, and they're just not that great. Well, this will be able to take that wired signal and beam it out wirelessly, to be picked up by up to 2 Bluetooth speakers or 2 pairs of wireless earphones. But if you then click a switch on the back, this moves from being a transmitter to being a receiver, which means it can receive your wireless audio signal and convert it to a wired one. So I could use Spotify on my phone to wirelessly play music and for it to come out of a wired home cinema surround sound system, as opposed to maybe the small crummy Bluetooth speaker I might usually use. I feel like over the years, I've shown you quite a few things that you can stick onto the back of your phone. We've had wallets, little pouches, we've had speakers. This is a new one. They call it the Look Stand, and it's a 100% aluminium, fully adjustable stand. It's quite impressive what they managed to fit into this fairly small contraption, and it sort of locks itself in each orientation with a satisfying click. You can adjust the angle of your phone, the orientation of your phone, and there's also 3 different height levels. Alright, so we're left with my favourite few gadgets now. Some of them because they're exceptionally exciting, some of them just because they're very useful. So let's start exciting. A travel adapter. It comes in a case. It allows you to convert almost any socket into almost any other socket. And that's cool, but we've seen this before. What I thought was really useful about this one in particular is that you turn it around and you also get no less than 4 full-size USB ports to charge your phone and any other gadgets you might have with you. This is something that I actually plan to use regularly. But on a genuinely more exciting note, this is the Light Chaser Pro. A very expensive, but admittedly pro bit of kit. So you get two parts here. There's a case, which is nice quality, feels sturdy, and that doubles as a mount for this, a circular polarizer. It's quite a niche tool with a very specific benefit. It increases saturation and it reduces reflections. So if you're recording the inside of, well, anything reflective, you just rotate it and you can see straight through. You can see in this scene the TV looks kind of off, but with a little rotation, no, it's actually very much on. So if you wanted to film someone in a car, for example, this would be a pretty good way of doing it. Alright, welcome to my two favorites in this list. The first is the Nextdock. The concept is this: most people have two main pieces of tech in their life, their phone and their computer. And the goal of this product is kind of to merge them. The best way to think of Nextdock is as an empty laptop. A laptop with a working edge-to-edge keyboard and a working Full HD screen, but no processor, no RAM, no operating system. It's made to be powered by your smartphone. And I've been thinking a lot about this product over the last few weeks. On one hand, it's still going to take up space in your bag, and it's not going to be as powerful as a MacBook Pro, for example. But the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to see the benefits. For starters, of course, it's way cheaper than actually buying a proper laptop. There's no duplication of components. Because this laptop isn't trying to have its own set of CPU and GPU and RAM, the inside can pretty much be just one massive battery. So it'll last for ages. There's quite a nice sense of continuity. If I'm typing an email on my phone and I decide I want to move it to my laptop, I just plug it in and carry on where I left off. And all of a sudden, both your phone and your laptop have a data connection. And think about this, every time you upgrade your phone in the future, you're kind of getting a free laptop upgrade. It's a cool thought. And the cherry on top is that because this Nextdock has an HDMI import, you can also use it as a portable TV for your PS4, your Nintendo Switch, or your Apple TV. The only obvious caveat is that you'll be restricted to mobile apps, but you might be surprised how well they work. And actually, speaking of things you can use as a potential monitor, welcome to a very different kind. You could think of this as a monitor for your face. You can plug in your smartphone the same way you would on a TV, but also your game console, your drone controller to get a live feed of its camera, and you'll be seeing all that on what they describe as a 200-inch 4K display, all with some pretty impressive baked-in audio. It's a nice display. It's probably not as nice as that figure makes it sound, but there are some perks. It can run 3D content and all that Google Cardboard stuff. You can wirelessly stream your phone to the glasses. And if you really committed to this and got yourself a Bluetooth controller, then yes, that means you could be playing COD Mobile on a 200-inch screen in the train. If you like these smartphone gadgets episodes, I'm going to drop a link to my last one somewhere up here, so you can check that out. And if you were pleasantly surprised by how much content we got into a video, that's because I've been collecting these over the last 2 months, so a sub to the channel would be incredible. My name is Aaron, this is Mr. Who's the Boss, and I'll catch you in the next one.